All right, guys, hopping back on the stream here. Third time today with the Coin Zone. I'm Crypto with Paul. Just want to go over some things here. Cynthia Lummis just came out with a statement this morning in regards to Donald Trump supporting the bill to buy 1 million Bitcoin. We have some more updates on some price predictions here. Want to play some clips from Cynthia Lummis, from Donald Trump, from Michael Saylor to JD Vance. We're going to take a look at a bunch of stuff here, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to take a look at a clip from Tom Lee that we also played recently on the Natalie Burnell podcast, which was this week. But I'm going to start here with this clip of Cynthia Lummis because we could soon see $1 million in the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve for the United States. So go ahead and listen to this clip by Cynthia Lummis.
I'm particularly pleased with President Trump's support of my Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Initiative, which will address our national debt while securing America's position as the global leader in financial innovation. As Bitcoin comes into more usage, its use makes the whole system more secure, more robust, and more capable of serving our needs all over the world. We should be the global leader with this fantastic new ledger-based asset that is in a digital format that is going to be transformative of everyday economy and puts the everyday American, in fact, the everyday worker all over the world in control of their own money. What a wonderful blessing for hardworking people all over the world to have this great new technology and to have America lead the way in implementing this wonderful, wonderful innovation.
Yeah, kudos to Cynthia Lummis for that one. Shout out to Cynthia Lummis. We're going to switch over to a clip now of Donald Trump, but she's absolutely right, guys. We have to give kudos to Cynthia Lummis for that clip there, for that video. She's been pushing more than anybody in Congress, I would say, to get a Bitcoin Strategic Reserve going. She wants to sell gold to buy Bitcoin. She wants to sell the gold that we've had as a reserve and buy Bitcoin with that. So just continuing with this bullish sentiment, you know, we've been talking a lot about alt season, Ethereum. We've been taking a look at XRP a lot this week, but it's just still hard to ignore everything that's happening with Bitcoin still. A lot of people are buying it, a lot of nation states, institutions. So the Vice President of the United States recently announced that he owns Bitcoin during an interview this week, but let's just continue to take a look at some of these bullish clips about Bitcoin that we've seen, you know, Trump speaking last year and then still coming now this week.
Today, and Bitcoin and crypto will skyrocket like never before, even beyond your expectations, and you are the people that are doing it. Today, and Bitcoin.
Yeah, so Donald Trump thinks that Bitcoin will skyrocket beyond our expectations. Let's just hope that that is true. All right. And he said also this week that in the next 6 months or so, maybe in the next year, things are going to skyrocket and just take off because of everything that we're seeing now. We covered live yesterday. Apple, Tim Cook, Donald Trump went live talking about all that. $17 trillion of total investments that Trump has been able to get so far in 7 months. That's insane. 17 trillion, 600 billion from Apple alone. They are going to be influencing 24 states, bringing manufacturing jobs all across the country. Arizona, for one state, that's an example where I'm at currently. So if you live in Arizona, chat, let me know. That's awesome. But so many good things, so many positive things that are happening. Let's listen to Tom Lee. Obviously, Tom Lee has an ETH strategic reserve, but he made a price prediction on the Natalie Burnell podcast. So let's take a listen to that.
If someone wanted to understand the use case for Bitcoin, and there's many, but they're not too, they don't have a lot of conviction around something, to me, I can say easily it should supplant gold. And so I think Bitcoin should be, over 1 million over time. And then I kind of prescribing to the view that there's probably a chance that maybe the 4-year cycle is ending for Bitcoin because of the way institutional adoption of that thesis is taking place. And so you have institutional and permanent, essentially permanent holders of Bitcoin coming in. So should be good. I mean, so I think Bitcoin should really build upon this 120 before the end of the year. So, 200,000, maybe 250.
Yeah. I mean, so Tom Lee is not the first person to say that he thinks that there will no longer be a 4-year cycle. Michael Saylor, who we are about to put on the screen as well, happens to think that into 2026, maybe continuing even into 2027, we are just going to continue to see positive price action for Bitcoin because there's too much institutional interest and there's too many institutions buying right now. And there's just simply not enough Bitcoin to go around. Supply and demand, guys. It's as simple as that. That's one of the basic economic rules, investing rules, is just supply and demand, what that does to price. As we all know, there's only 21 million Bitcoin ever. The amount that's being bought off exchanges is more than what is being put into circulation every day via mining. So supply and demand, we're going to see a supply shock soon. That's what Michael Saylor thinks. That's what a lot of people think. And obviously it makes sense. So we listened to Cynthia Lummis, Trump, Tom Lee. Let's listen to this quick clip now of Michael Saylor.
When Wall Street is 10% of Bitcoin, Bitcoin will be at $1 million a coin. And that means there'll be nearly $20 trillion of not Wall Street money that will be sitting everywhere else in the rest of the world, in the rest of whatever, right? The energy, it's impossible for anybody to take over Bitcoin in a hostile way, because the more aggressively you buy Bitcoin, the more you empower everybody else that disagrees with you.
Right? The $20 trillion institutions are buying.
That's my Michael Saylor impression. What else can I say?
Bitcoin will be at $1 million a coin.
Bitcoin will be at $1 million a coin.
That's my best Michael Saylor impression. Guys, chat, let me know what you think in the comments. Yeah, I mean, if we're going to talk about Bitcoin being bullish, you got to play Michael Saylor. If we left him out, that just wouldn't be right. Wouldn't be right. Shout out to Saylor. Pushing the space forward, guys. Lastly, because we will be going live more today, so just stay focused, guys. Breaking news, always, I'm going right on with it. But in the interim here, while I wait for something, just want to point out, Bitcoin's still plugging along, guys. Not going anywhere. So much is happening. All right. We listened to clips from the Bitcoin conference. Plenty of big names. Let's go to JD Vance, who just said on the news this week that he is a holder of Bitcoin personally. Yeah, he's definitely right. This is the deal, guys. The president, the vice president, one of the most profitable businesses and strategy over the last couple of years are talking about Bitcoin. So if you're not paying attention, focus on this, maybe you should, because this asset class is new. It's emerging. Bitcoin alone has been the best performing asset over the last decade, and people are still not paying attention, which is kind of wild to me. We just saw announced this morning, 401ks, you can now buy some Bitcoin, some crypto, put it in there. Pause. So I definitely think that we're going to see a lot of 401k providers get a shit ton of calls from their customers and saying, hello, sir, can you please switch my 401k around to include some Bitcoin and ETH, please? Thanks. Yeah, that's what we're going to see here. At least Bitcoin and ETH, probably XRP is going to benefit the most, I would say. Those three cryptocurrencies, maybe Solana, from these ETF, just because the name recognition. Maybe Doge, we'll see what happens with, ADA and some of the other coins here. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. Bit over 10 minutes here with the live, guys. 52 of you guys watching on X. We're on YouTube as well. I appreciate you guys tapping in as always. But we will be going live a couple more times today, so stick around. Just wanted to hop on here and show you that everything is still very positive and bullish for Bitcoin. We might be a little bit down on the week. ETH might be outperforming Bitcoin on the month. Tides are turning to alt season, baby. We'll see what happens. However, there's still a ton of capital going into Bitcoin, still a ton of public interest. And I think right now is beginning the freaking snowball rolling downhill of retail actually being like, all right, time to learn about this Bitcoin thing. So yeah, that's where we're at, guys. Once again, this is Crypto with Paul. You're watching the Coin Zone, and I'll be back here live shortly. So stick around. I'll see you again in a bit.